Yeah, it's much longer than I expected it to be. Yeah, it depends on how you put it together and how it comes together, and I feel like there's no doubt that it's going to, and we just got to get it right and get away from the big plays that are causing huge impacts in games, and get down to playing ball. The big stats, the normal stats you look at, runs and passes and all that doesn't tell the story in this game. It's the big plays that happen in the kicking game and turnover for a touchdown, and those plays are so huge, and so we have to just get out of that kind of ball and get to just playing good football, and we're running the ball better than the team they play, and you pass the ball better, and those things work for you and win for you.
In regard to Jermaine Pratt, are you anticipating him practicing this week and playing on Sunday against the Titans?
No, he's been released. Yeah.
Is there a reason for his release?
Of course, yeah. We just thought it was time to go in a different direction.
Pete, how do you make up for that loss of Jermaine Pratt? Like, what do you guys have in mind for that?
Malcolm, Snowden, and Jamal all combining to help. They all play the same spot, and so those guys will work out for us.
Also, teams are somewhat picking on Caillou Blue a little bit. How do you help a young cornerback in his situation?
Yeah, just keep working with him. He's doing so many good things, but he is getting the action. And interesting. Darian played on the other side and really didn't see the ball very much. Throughout the game, and so there's ways to help him coverage-wise. There's ways to make sure that we're just keeping him on it. It's just a hair of a difference on him playing, from the PI situation. That we work really hard on. So. We just got to keep getting better. I mean, they're going to get the corners sometimes, and we got to help them as much as we can.
Is there any more personnel changes that you expect could be on the way or are on the way?
No.
Any update on AJ Cole?
Yeah, he's got a low ankle sprain. He's going to try to kick on Friday and see how he does. So he's tough about it, and we'll see what happens.
Are you bringing someone else in just in case?
We're talking about other guys. Yeah, we got to cover ourselves on this.
Speaking about AJ Cole, that whole unit in special teams, what are some things that you're seeing that you feel could just be better in your eyes?
Well, we've had a couple, plays that have happened where Mike Mir plays, and we haven't backed it up well enough. And these guys have been challenged, and so we got to get our guys right. If Mike can play, then we'd like to get him back in there. But there's been a couple situations that have occurred, where he's a key player for you, and it just shows you that it's hard, with the backups got to come in and they're called on to play just like a legit starter, and so hopefully we can clean that up.
Special teams has always been a strength of this team, and it seems like it's been a struggle this year. Can you put your finger on what's going on with the special teams unit in general?
Yeah, we're working really hard like we have been. Tommy's been here a long time and done a good job with the club and for the club, and we haven't changed any of our emphasis. We've followed it as much as we can, and we're counting on really good results. So the fact that big plays have happened, we got to make sure that we got guys in the right spots. We're going to keep working with new guys and to fit in and see if they can make plays for us. We need our guys that are covering the kicks to do a consistent job, and I'd like to have more defensive guys on those teams when we can. But we're not. Our emphasis has been is I would think as consistent as any part of our team. So we just got to get better results. We got to get away from the big plays.
You did the tight ends?
Tight ends. What about him?
Both. Any update on their injury status?
Yeah, Mike has his opportunities tomorrow to get cleared, and we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed and all of that. He feels like he's ready to go, and has felt like that. So but there's the protocol is challenging, and we respect it. Brock he's week to week. We've got to see what's going on, see if we can get him back, and he's dying to play. We went all the way till Saturday's walkthrough to see if he could go, and it didn't feel like he could. So we'll just start over again, do it again this week.
When you look at the film from yesterday's game, how would you evaluate Geno Smith's overall performance in the game?
G was solid. He had, the play when the guy jumps in the neutral zone, he's got a chance to throw the ball in the end zone there because we've got a penalty situation, and he had a guy open. He made a great, I think would have been a great throw. Ball got tipped up and turns into a game-changing interception. It's unfortunate. Sometimes that happens, and his response is he sees the guy in the neutral zone, and so he knows he has the freedom to make the play. I don't know if that would have changed him any, because he had the right read and he was throwing the right guy. The guy knocked the ball up in the air. It wasn't the guy that jumped that got the ball tipped up. But that's a huge play because it's 14-3. We're going in right then, and feeling pretty good. So, G's got to keep doing it. He's got to stay with it. We got to continue to build around him, get the running game rolling. We've got to get our guys coming through on their plays, and he's got to do his part also. He got the pick that he threw that was legit. We got a little challenge in the coverage right there, and the response to the guy coming off the edge, and didn't get what we needed done there. You might have, somebody asked me, I think last night, did you think about, making a change? And of course, I'm always aware of those kinds of thoughts, but we need to keep playing. We need to get better. We need to keep practicing. Even though it's a lousy situation in the fourth quarter, we're still practicing our football and trying to get better and get right for the next game. And it's unfortunate that it turned out that way, but we're going to do everything we can to keep taking advantage of all the opportunities we get.
When you look at those rookies, Ashton, Jindy, Jack Besh, Dante, who played a lot yesterday, can you just talk about what's the biggest thing you've noticed in their maturation, and what do you think is the next step for them moving forward?
Yeah, I think Ashton is handling everything beautifully. Yeah, he's the pressure of being a draft pick and all of that and trying to get going. He is going. He's legit. He had another really good game yesterday. Caught the ball a number of times. Chip did a good job of spreading him around. Jack continues to do well and come through. He's playing well on special teams as well. He's a real competitive kid that we love his spirit about what he brings, and he's going to keep helping us. Dante, we've been going to. We've been working, and it hasn't been as effective as we want it to be. He's trying. He's busting his tail, and he's a brand new football player. He barely started in college, but he's shown us enough that it's worth hanging with him and keep working through it. When we got to make sure that his role is really fitted well, and so that we can utilize his strengths. And right now we continue to use him in a variety of situations, and we're growing with it. And he's going to come through. He's got too much talent.
Pete, how does the first 5 games here with the Raiders compare to your starts with other teams in your past?
Yeah, well, we were 2-5 at SC. So and then we didn't lose very many games after that point, and I can't remember exactly how we started in Seattle in the first 4 or 5 games, but I know we finished well, and we won the last game to win the division and to get in the playoffs, and won a playoff game and all that. I know that we're going to come together. I have no hesitation in saying that. I just wish it was sooner than later, and so. We're going to keep plugging away, and our guys are practicing hard, and they care, and the leadership is good, and they're solid, and they're keeping our guys' heads in the right place, and we're counting on turning this thing. If you could take a lesson, let's learn the lesson that the Aces taught us. They were struggling, and then they won 16 in a row, and look where they are now. And so things can turn, and that's the only way I've ever known it. So that's the only expectation I have.
I know you're big on playing young players, but could you describe what the challenges that sometimes that presents when you're relying on young players at Keith's position?
Yeah, the 2D linemen played yesterday. They played like 14, 15 plays or something like that. So they got a taste of it and got to, run game, pass game. They got some action. It's just bringing them along. And the whole idea has always been, if you play guys early, by the time you get to mid-season, it's comfortable for them to be in the games, and you pick up more quality depth from those guys as opposed to holding them out and not giving them a chance. And so there's a little give and take with that, but it continues to be the concept is to try to get these guys ready to play. So from the midseason point on, they can be role players for us and factor in and help us. That doesn't just help the fact that they're playing, but they give other guys breaks too. So that's been the mentality.